There may be a number of challenges when you do return to work. You may feel very nervous, very anxious, overwhelmed. You may have been off work for a number of months, and this is your first step to returning to work. So don't worry, it is normal to have those feelings.
At first I was terrified, and I felt quite sort of out of my comfort zone because I was starting a career path that I hadn't previously done before.
I must say, one of the things that did get me back to work quicker was, I forgot about this, I was in the middle of doing the statue for Spike Milligan, and I did have my stroke before it was finished. So that was kind of a push as well. In fact, if I hadn't had that to finish, I might have been a bit slower.
The thing to remember is that you are back at work, you have now returned, and you might just need some additional support. This is where having a really clear return to work plan can help, so that you're really clear about the support you need and what's in place to meet those needs. And actually speaking to your colleagues about it and being really honest about the effects of the stroke can really help them to support you in the right way.
It's very important that you talk to your employer from day one, if you can, of when you have your stroke, or ask a family member to contact your employer. And even when you're back at work, do keep talking to your employer.
When I actually went for the meeting, they'd not dealt with anybody that had had a stroke before, so it was very much a learning curve for them as well as for myself. But I felt that they'd used the document that I'd sent them on Employer's Guide. I felt they'd use that as a blueprint to facilitate my return.
It's really important when you return back to work to factor in regular time to review the working arrangements. If things aren't going well or you feel overwhelmed, it's a chance for you to voice these concerns, and also it gives your employer a chance to actually put further support in place or to make changes that can support you.
If you need aids and equipment to help you do your job, your employer could contact Job Centre Plus and talk about access to work, or your disability employment advisor, and they would be able to help, or an occupational therapist who's been working with you.
I also use speech activation software, so that sort of helps me with the written side of the work that I do.
A friend of mine's very inventive, and he occasionally knocks me up a turntable or some kind of gizmo where I can sort of strap something down and sand it and that. What I had to do really is to work out how to work with just one hand.
A phased return is really adopting a part-time approach to returning to the workplace following a stroke. It's really a flexible approach, and it's about helping people to readjust to being back at work, and it's also a chance for the employer as well to adjust to any support they have to give to an employee after a stroke.
I have had a phased return to work, and that means that for the first week I did 2 mornings, which would amount to probably about 4.25 hours each morning, and then slowly progressed from there. The phased return also included amended duties.
Some stroke survivors are very open about their stroke and want to talk to their colleagues about how the stroke has affected them. However, it is up to you. It's your stroke, and you don't have to tell them if you don't want to.
I had a lot of contact with and from colleagues during my illness. I also had several visits, and they were going back into the workplace and informing other people.
It's quite common to return to work and to feel quite overwhelmed. It's really important to try to keep note. This can be through a diary, this can be through your work calendar, of all the things that are going well, but all the things that perhaps are not going well. What is it specifically? Is it that you are feeling tired, that you're feeling confused, that the tasks are overwhelming you, that your employer, that your colleagues, that your employer are not being supportive? So being really clear about what the problem is can often help you to put things in place to address that problem.
Since I've been back, my colleagues have been very, very supportive. I've had like a buddy that's kept that eye on me to make sure that I'm okay. And the colleagues that have been doing my work have been very respectful of my position and not making me feel under any pressure.
Try not to rush back too soon. Be really clear that you are ready to go back to work. Get input from all the health professionals you've been working with, speak to your occupational therapist. If you live in London, you can access the Back to Work project. You can also speak to the Stroke Helpline, who are full of useful tips and advice about stroke.
Be as open as possible with both your employer and your colleagues. You can't expect them to know what it's like to have a stroke. You have to educate them and tell them and let them see what it's like, mainly with regards to your recovery at work.
I use this experience to sort of try new things I've never really done before. So I think that as another tip, really, do something you sort of go out of your comfort zone, because there's nothing really to lose.